Hello and welcome to another Magic the Gathering unboxing. Today we're going to take a look at the new Duel Decks, the Heroes versus Monsters. This is going to be interesting because in here is a small amount of cards from the upcoming Theros expansion set. So it's going to give us a little bit of a sort of teaser for maybe abilities and a few other things we're likely to see in that set. So as with all duel decks, they do pull down cards from all over Magic's history. And additionally what they do, as they've done in this one, is they also have alternate art versions of certain cards. And according to back here we have 10 rare cards and 2 mythic rares. So there's 2 decks in here. So it's split between the 2 decks. A foiled alternative art version of Sun Titan and Polakranos World Eater, and there's 5 other cards from the new Theros set and 7 other cards featuring never before printed artwork. So let's open this up and see what we get inside. I didn't check the back, but I'm assuming, wondering what else this comes with. From the decks. Okay. I think because of what the decks contain, you also get some tokens in this as well, I believe. Okay. There we go. So yeah, we've got 2 deck boxes. Done up with the respective lead card, and also has the colour of the deck. So this one with Polakranos on the front is a red-green deck, and one here with the new artwork for the Sun Titan is red-white. So the decks, they normally attempt to balance these so they play nice together, but they don't always get the balance quite right, and you get sometimes the one deck stronger than the other. Just going to open up the insert and just take a look at this. So what it will be is you get this sort of, you get a how to play the deck for, I think it is each, yep, for each deck. And they also give you a deck listing, and also, which is handy if you're curious, a notable printing. That's essentially one of the editions from whence the card came. That's what you get in there. And then there's the obligatory general how to play guide if you've not played Magic before. Okay, so let's look at the deck with Sun Titan as a lead card first of all. So here we have a 4 and 2 white for a 6/6 creature giant. It's got vigilance on it. Whenever Sun Titan enters the battlefield or attacks, you may return target permanent card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. And now we'll actually have a look at the rest of the deck. So I suspect these go through in mana curve order, with creatures up front and then land and support card, but we'll see. It seems how the Wizards are packing these decks nowadays. Got Sumberwold Vigilante, Figure of Destiny. Actually, let's just flag. What I'll do is I'll flag up the rares. So Figure of Destiny is a rare. It's hybrid red-white mana. It's 1/1, and it has this interesting set of, I suppose they're like scaling abilities, where as Figure of Destiny becomes a certain creature type, you then have the capacity to move on to the next creature type when you next have the mana that you can activate that ability. So this starts off for the cost of red-white hybrid mana. Figure of Destiny becomes a 2/2 Kithkin Spirit. Then for 3 red-white hybrid mana, if it's a spirit, then it becomes a 4/4 Kithkin Spirit Warrior. And for 6 red-white hybrid mana, if it's a warrior, then it becomes an 8/8 Kithkin Spirit Warrior Avatar with flying and first strike. But when it comes into play, the first, it's a 1/1. Cavalry Pegasus. Fencing Ace, so we're now moving on to our 2-drops. Thraben Valiant. Stun Sniper. So obviously we're going to see some red, white, gold cards in here. There's 2 of those. There's also a True Fire Paladin. Auramancer. Freewind Equinaut. 2 of those. Anax and Cymede, I think that is. So another rare. This is effectively a preview card, I suppose, because this isn't available anywhere apart from in this set until they release the next expansion set, Theros, which is pretty soon. It's 1 red-white for a 3/2. It's got first strike, vigilance, legendary creature, human soldier. Heroic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Anax and Cymede, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain trample until end of turn. Armory Guard. 2 of those. Gustcloak Sentinel. Dawnstrike Paladin. Noblice of War, another red-white hybrid card. This also is a rare. It's a 3/4 creature spirit avatar. So we have 6 of the red-white hybrid mana in order to cast it there. Flying, attacking creatures you control get +2/+0. Kamal Pit Fighter. I think this was in, was it X 10th edition, I think. 4 and 2 red for a 6/1. It's got haste and you can tap it, and Kamal Pit Fighter deals 3 damage to target creature or player. There's a Condemn in here, so we're now moving on, looks like, to our support cards. So we have 2 of those. Then we've got Daily Regime. Pay No Heed. Righteousness. Stand Firm. Magma Jet. Ordeal of Perforus, I think that is. So this is 1 and a red for an enchantment aura, and this enchants a creature. Whenever enchanted creature attacks, put a 1/1 counter on it. And if it has 3 or more +1/+1 counters on it, sacrifice Ordeal of Perforus. When you sacrifice Ordeal of Perforus, it deals 3 damage to target creature or player. We have a Bonds of Faith, a Moment of Heroism. Oh, I can't even say it today. Moment of Heroism, sorry. Moment of Heroism. Undying Rage. Battle Mastery. Griffin Guide. Smite the Monstrous. A Miraculous Recovery. So we've got an awful lot of support cards here. Winds of Wrath. Pyrokinesis. And now we're moving on to our mana base, which we have, not surprisingly, a Boros Guildgate, which fixes for red-white, so it enters battlefield tapped. Or we can tap it once it's untapped for red or white mana. And there are 2 of those. New Benalia. So this is a land. New Benalia enters the battlefield tapped. When new Benalia enters the battlefield, scry for 1, and you tap, add 1 white to your mana pool. I think if I'm correct on this, there's going to be a cycle of these sort of scry lands in the new set. But this particular card has been printed before. There's 2 of those. And then we move on to our mountains. I'm trying to work out whether that's just looks like standard core set artwork. Yeah, I don't know whether, again, I've not seen yet I haven't looked at the spoilers yet actually. So, and then we've got some tokens at the back. So we've got a Griffin token. So that's our first deck in the Duel Decks. So let's look at the other one. So our lead card on this deck is our foil Polychronos World Eater. It's a legendary creature Hydra. It's a mythic, as was the Sun Titan. 2 colourless, 2 green for a 5/5, and this has this new ability called Monstrosity. So for XX green, it's Monstrosity X, and I'll just try and position this so that the foil doesn't sort of stop you seeing the card. If this creature isn't monstrous, put X +1/+1 counters on it, and it becomes monstrous. When Polychronos World Eater becomes monstrous, it deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures your opponents control. Each of these creatures deals damage equal to its power to Polychronos. Okay, we've got, first of all, our 1-drop creatures. So we've got Orcish Lumberjack, Deadly Recluse is in here, there's 2 of those. Kavu Predator, Satyr Hedonist. You'll notice what they do with a lot of these duel decks is they use a lot of 1-ofs, 2-ofs, and it just makes the deck incredibly variable because they're designed to be played together. I suppose they're going down the line of them wanting, each game you play with it to be fairly random, so you get a different experience over and over and over again, so the sort of novelty of the deck doesn't wear out too soon. Satyr Hedonist, Zertar Druid, Blood Ogre, 2 of those. We've got a Troll Aesthetic in here, so this is a rare. 1 colourless, 2 green for a 3/2. It's got hexproof on it, and it also has 1 and a green to regenerate Troll Aesthetic. Crowned Ceratoc, Gorehorn Minotaurs, 2 of those. Gorklan Savage, Use of Calamity. So this is hybrid mana. Spirit Avatar, 6/6, and it costs 6 red-green hybrid mana to cast. It's got Trample. Whenever Use of Calamity enters... Whenever Geos of Calamity deals 6 or more damage to an opponent, destroy target land that player controls. Conquering Manticore is also a rare. It's a 5/5 creature Manticore, 4 and 2 red. Flying. When Conquering Manticore enters the battlefield, gain control of target creature and opponent controls until end of turn. Untap that creature, it gains haste until end of turn. We have a Crater Helion, another rare, 4 and 2 red for 6/6. Creature Helion Beast with Echo, 4 and 2 red on it. So with Echo, at the beginning of your upkeep, if this came under your control since the beginning of your last upkeep, sacrifice it unless you pay its Echo cost. And whenever Crater Helion enters the battlefield, it deals 4 damage to each other creature. Skagan Firebird, another rare, another 4 and 2 red for a 3/3. It's got Bloodthirst 3 on it. If an opponent was dealt damage this turn, this creature enters the battlefield with 3 +1/+1 counters on it. It has flying, and for a cost of 3 red, you can return Skagan Firebird from your graveyard to your hand. Activate this ability only if an opponent was dealt damage this turn. Valley Ranet, 2 of those. Crozen Tusker, Skagan Skybreaker, Shower of Sparks. So now we're moving on to our sort of non-creature support cards. We've got 2 Prayer Ponds, a Pyroclasm, Regrowth is in this deck, Terrifying Presence, Destructive Revelry, Dragon Blood. So this is 3 colourless. Tap it, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Volt Charge. There's 2 of those. Beast Within. Fires of Yavimaya. And now we're moving on to our mana base. So we have something that fixes for red-green here. So it's Kazandu Refuge, and it enters the battlefield tapped. And when it enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. There's 2 of those. Llanowar Reborn. So it enters the battlefield tapped as well. You tap it for green mana pool, but it has a graft on it. So you can graft for 1. This land enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 encounter on it. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you may move a +1/+1 counter from this land onto it. So there's 2 of those. We've got Skarg the Rage Pit's land. This taps for colourless mana. For a cost of red-green, you can tap it and the target creature gets +1/+1 and gains trample until end of turn. And then we actually also here have our regular basic lands. And again, I'm just going to quickly look through these. I'm not too sure, this is interesting, I'm not too sure where these come from. They're from the upcoming set, or they are, I recognise some old artwork here. And then there's a beast token there. So something in either of these decks, probably this one, produces a beast token. I'm just going to quickly go back through this one. I've gone through the cards now, and sometimes it's good to just scan through quickly and get a feel for what this. It looks like there's some sort of, with the monstrosity and various other cards having tokens, there's sort of some sort of token and pump here. Yeah, there's 1/1 counters coming in care of dragon blood. That's why I stopped on that one initially. So with the green red, we've obviously got, you know, creatures and direct damage going on here. Bit of bloodthirst, bit of cycling. Yeah, there's a bloodthirst theme going through here. So this is where, you know, if an opponent was dealt damage, the creature enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. So there is this countering theme through counters theme through the bloodthirst. Yeah, there's a lot of bloodthirst here. Yeah, you put counters on, that puts counters on. And obviously our key card here has these counters put on care of monstrosity. Let's just go back to the other deck, quickly flip through that as well and just see what we can see. Let me put the lead card there. Just give us a quick overview. So what's this going to do? Okay, scroll on that. It's just coincidental. Exile. So that's actually mass removal on creatures that aren't enchanted. +1/+1 counters coming in care of that. There's some pump, double strike, pump, pump. So there's a Enchantments Matter theme here actually. Enchanting creatures plus one, as long as it's a human. I think, let me just check whether I'm right on that. Yeah, it's got a bit of enchantment. Whether or not there's any pump here as a result of you being enchanted, I'm not too sure. Yeah, there's a small pump here. Counter. Oh yeah, yeah, as long as Firewind in the Equinaut is enchanted. Yeah, okay. So it is more of an Enchantment Matters type theme with some related pump spells. So the upcoming, it's interesting because the upcoming set is going to have a sort of Enchantment Matters theme in it, along with some new mechanics of which monstrosity is one. Okay, so there you have the Heroes versus Monsters dual decks. Thanks for watching.